everyone, and welcome back to Dr. Defective's Mad Scientist Laboratory. I am Dr. Defective, and you are watching Give 'em a Hand Part 2. This will be the remainder of this prop build. Hope you enjoy it, and when this little tutorial is over, then there will be a video of this puppy up and running at the end. So sit back and get something to drink, something to eat, and I hope you enjoy it. First thing we're going to do here is drill holes in the bottom of the aquarium. Another benefit of using the plastic one, drill holes right into it, into the top of the radio, and get her mounted in there real nice, so we can move on and get more pieces put together on it. Now we're going to put some interior lighting in the aquarium, just some 12 volt DC LED strip lights mounted up in there, hidden behind the paint so you can't see them. And a small piece of copper painted black down the side, again behind the paint, so you don't see it, to run the wiring down through and into the base and down to our power supply. Decided to drill a couple holes in the back of the aquarium and put these copper or brass grommets back there. This was an afterthought or a later idea. I'm going to have tubes running through there and then into the hand to give the appearance that it's pumping blood. And the reason, where this idea came from is in the next picture. I found this bad boy in one of my goodie bins at home, and all you motorheads out there, please forgive me that I cannot 100% identify it. I know it's a car part, an engine part of an older vehicle. I think it is in the fuel line. If I'm wrong, again, forgive me. I'm not a mechanic, I'm a mad scientist. So I found it, thought it was very cool, came up with the idea of making it look like a pump mounted to the outside of the body of the project. So start to tear it apart, get the gaskets out, gonna clean it up a little bit and give it some paint. Here it is, painted up in a copper color. Put some grommets on the inlet and outlet sides of it. Put some rivets in the top. A couple little things. I'll age it, and then we will mount it to the side of the base and run our tubing through there. And here it is, mounted to the side of the base, aged, and with the tubing running into it. Just wanted to touch on the tubing real quick because this was new to me, or for me. I don't know how everybody else does it, but I wanted the tubing to look like it was filled with blood and needed the ends to be sealed on them. So I took a piece of aquarium tubing and filled, about 3 foot long, filled it with my red blood, and then had to hold the ends up in the air so nothing drained out, and used just some clear silicone and filled the ends up about a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch with silicone, and let that dry overnight. And it's working. Nothing leaks out either end. I don't know if there's going to be an issue. I'm sure there will be with evaporation someday, but the way this is put together, it won't be hard for me to take those tubes out, redo them, or make new ones and put them back in there. But that was my method of filling tubes with water and trying to make them seal. So if you would happen to have a better method, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it and give it a try. Always looking for new ideas and new ways of doing things. So eyes and ears always open for new ways of building. Now here's the bracket that holds the 3-way air valves for the aquarium pump and for the bubblers. I put the completed picture up first just so you can kind of look at it, and then I'll post a couple pictures next, what it looked like before. It's painted up. It's got all the holes drilled in it to mount it to the base, and then to be able to run tubing through it. And the handles that I held in the previous one on the part one are glued to the top. I just think they look perfect on there. It worked out excellent. So here's what you look like, or what I used to begin with. So what I started with was a piece of 1/2 inch PVC cut in half. And the two pieces on the ends are something I made with the smooth cast. I'll show them in the next picture, and glued onto the end to kind of seal it off. The two holes I have drilled so far are what I used to mount the three-way valve to this piece. I just used a piece of solid strand copper wire, wrapped it around the center of the valve, and stuck the wire through here and glued it into place, and it seems to be holding real nice, real solid. Again, sand, 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 man. Don't forget the sand stuff. If anything's too smooth, it'll definitely come apart on you. So on the top there, that's the piece that I had, just something I had made a mold of. It was a part off of an old radio I thought was neat. So I smooth cast a couple of them, had them laying around. I just took one, rounded out the ends, cut it in half, and it fit perfectly on both ends of that piece of PVC, so I couldn't have asked for more. Glued them into place, painted it silver, aged everything up, and was ready to move on to the next part of it. All right, now we're going to start working on the inside of the box. I got my 2x4 junction box mounted. That's where the power will come in and be distributed to all the different parts. And you can see I've started with some vinyl tubing, drilled a hole in the side. That's going to be going from the pump. It's headed out the side and into that bracket we were just talking about with the three-way valve. So here is the arc generator Tesla coil that I picked up off of Amazon. I'm sorry I don't have a better picture of it. If you want to know more, message me and I can get you the details. But I've seen them and thought I'd give it a shot on this project. You can see the frequency knob is still on there. My goal was to use one of the existing holes in the front of the radio that had a volume knob on it or something, and poke that through and put my knob on and be able to adjust the frequency. So what I had to do was the power, I had to shave that knob off, and the switch on the left, I had to shave that off so I could butt that up flush with the front of the radio. And I had to raise it up a bit to center it in the middle of the hole on the front of the radio. So I just took some washers and glued them to the bottom. Pretty cut and dry, and it went in there real nice and fits perfectly. Here's the front where the knob is sticking out. I just found a cool old knob and put it over top, and now I can adjust the frequency of the arc generator. So what you're looking at now is the back of the plasma disc, the flat-faced electricity disc. They come in different sizes. This was a 6-inch. I bought it hoping, not sure if it was going to work or not. The front of the radio has an opening. I assume it was probably where the speaker was. That wasn't one in there when I got it. So I picked it up, and just the way things work out, sometimes it fit beautifully in there. I just had to drill a couple holes to make some brackets to hold it into place. Now I don't know, just something to let you know, if this is an issue with the brand that I bought or just the style of plasma disc. I blew up two of them, and I have no idea how. One, I think I just left it on too long. I left it on, walked away, came back. You could smell it was burnt up. The other one, I had it on for a little while. I turned it off, set it down next to me, and the glass cracked on it. So third time's a charm, I hope. This one has been working beautifully for me, and I hope she keeps working always. And this is just what it looks like from the front of the radio from the outside. It did have this mesh screen that you see there. That was part of the original radio. I took it off, put it on. I liked the way the electricity looked behind that mesh screen. Added a nice effect, so I left it in there. What I got here is just a layout of all the pieces that'll be on the inside, just to make sure everything fits, and I got room to work. Upper left is the junction box. Lower left is that arc generator. Center top is the aquarium pump. Center bottom, the green piece is my junction block for my 12 volt DC lights and everything. Upper right is my transformer from 120 volt down to 12 volt DC, and then lower right is the plasma screen. Here's a nice shot of the rat's nest I got going on. When I'm doing something like this, I usually will draw myself out a little schematic or diagram just to be able to keep my thoughts in place and get one little thing done at a time and not get overwhelmed with it, because I can do that to myself. I do like to solder my wires together just from experience, or I've put things together just tighten them up with tape or a wire nut, and then when I'm done with the project, one stupid little light won't come on and I gotta tear everything down because it came apart and it wasn't as strong of a connection as I thought it was. So I like to eliminate that chance. Here we got everything in place. I will use some zip ties and try to clean the wiring up a little bit better, but I'm happy with the way it all turned out. So things to note there on the right, you see the red check valve that's in line with the aquarium tubing. I put that in there just as precaution, overly cautious, because I have the pump down below the water level, and water and electricity are going to follow path of least resistance, and if I don't have that check valve in there or those that three-way valve that I can open and close, I was afraid I'd go down, look into the lab one day and find the tubes empty and all the water laying in the bottom of this thing all over my electrical parts. So at the point that I took this picture, I still wasn't 100% sure if this is even going to work or not. I had a plan B. If it wasn't, I was going to mount the aquarium pump remotely, but since then it's worked fine. I have had absolutely no issues. So again, just erring on a side of caution. And if you look behind the check valve where the arc generator is, you'll see my wire coming out and going to the left and up into the bottom of the aquarium, wrapped with foam insulation. Another lesson learned there, I had a piece of wire, just a solid strand wire, with its plastic coating on it, run from there up and into the back of my hand, and all the times I was testing it, everything worked fine. Thought I had no problem with clearances, but electricity wants to find every path to go except where you want it to go, and it did. It found everywhere else to go except where it was supposed to come out, and it took me a little while to figure out what I want to do. All I do is wrap it with some foam tape, insulate it that way, and it worked out fine for me. It was the only thing I could think of at the time. Of course, then I'm talking to a buddy of mine and showing to him, explaining my dilemma. And, of course, then Johnny come lately, he decides to offer me some advice that I can use for the next time, obviously. Spark plug wire would have worked fine, he said. So I will do that next time. But for this one, it gets foam insulated. Forgot to mention earlier about this voltmeter that put in the front of the radio. Again, there was a hole in the front of the radio. I think there was a dial in there or something at one time that I pulled out, and wasn't quite sure at first what I was going to do. And just digging through my stuff, I found a bunch of these little voltmeters, and I'll be darned if this one didn't fit right in there like it was supposed to be. You sit on a part for a day or you sit on a part for a year, and eventually it finds its home. So there it is. Moving away from the electrical part of it, I needed to cut a lid for the aquarium, so just made a template and cut out a piece of sheet metal, and then took a piece of like 1/4 inch foam board and glued it to the bottom, painted the bottom black, put an old knob on the top as a handle, painted it and aged it. In the use whatever you got portion of this video, these two pieces, they're about 1.5 inches in diameter. I believe they were they're a kitchen accessory. They each had a hole in them. Rod went through it. I guess you'd hang your hand towels on them or something. Anyway, there was 2 more holes in the front of that radio that I wanted to cover up. And I had these, so I filled in the hole with epoxy. I cleaned it up a bit, painted them up. And I think they look really nice on the front of the project once I got them put on. This is just a shot of the hand when I was experimenting with that arc generator. The piece from the previous part of the video, I had the black wire that I said was just giving me all kinds of trouble. Sparking every place but where I wanted it to. So when I was working on it, trying to see what I could make it do, I have this is thermostat wire, so it's a solid strand of wire, real thin, and push it through the back of the fingers, and I've just a tiny little tip of the bare wire sticking out the front, and I tried running all 4 wires to the generator, and then just 2 wires, and the 4 wires were okay. But I got more spark, a brighter effect out of just running it to 2 of them. So I still have all 3 of them, or all 3 of them, all 4 of them in there for looks, but only 2 of them are hooked up to actually give you the spark effect. And here's a shot with the hand inside the aquarium. I painted all the wire black, wrapped them around the X-Acto knife to just give them that kind of effect. And they're all running down into, if you can see the copper in the back, that's actually a ping pong ball that I painted up to look copper and drilled little holes in to put the wires through. And then they connect to that main black wire coming out from underneath. I went ahead and added a couple of rivets to the top and the bottom, the brass pieces that were on there, or that I painted brass. I don't even know what to call these things, these little buttons that I put in there, but I got them at a craft store. They came on a little sheet of plastic, and they were sticky on one side. They looked just like a thumbtack head, but I didn't have to shave the tack part off, and they stuck right to it, just a little bit of glue. It looks like they work really nice. When they get painted, they're gonna match everything, and I'm real happy with the way these are. I might start using more of these in future projects. So the last big piece I really felt like I needed to make or wanted to make is like a viewing port or a viewing window on the front of the aquarium. I just, a frame around it to where you can look into the front of the aquarium. So I needed to make myself a template. I used a piece of the that 1/4-inch poster board with the foam in the middle of it. Laid it out, so I could get the angle. The front of the aquarium has a curve to it. Figured I'd get that all laid out and be able to give it to a buddy of mine, and he'd cut out a piece of metal that I would stick on the front of there. But I cut this out. I laid it on there. It looked good. It fit nice. And so I figured, well, let me try using this. I mean, worst case scenario, I can still call my buddy and get a piece cut, but maybe this will work out for me. So I ran with this little piece here. I just took some of my epoxy, covered the whole inside and the outside, just smoothed it in there and let it dry, trying to make sure it held the shape, and sanded it with my Dremel tool. Didn't have to be perfect. Lots of nicks and rough edges on it. I didn't think there were going to be any problem. So I ran with that and painted her black. And once she's painted and I put the rivets on, I was really, really digging the texture, the way it looked. The Dremel tool jumping off the edges and scuffed up the front of it a little bit. Made it from shiny black to dull black. No, I was really starting to like it. My initial goal was to paint the whole thing the copper color that the aquarium was, but the more I played with it, the more I really enjoyed and thought it looked cool, just like it is here, black with the rivets. Once I attached it to the project, I knew that I made the right choice. That black frame just really, I don't know, it sets it off. I'm super happy with it, and the rivets stand out. It looks good. It looks like a piece of metal or something old. At least it doesn't look like cardboard and foam. So I was really happy. And here she is, completed, ready to go in her spot in the laboratory. So I appreciate very much you watching these videos. I hope you enjoyed them. Hopefully maybe gave you a little inspiration to get back to working on that project you got sitting in the basement corner. It's been there for a few months or a few years. We're going to switch back live now so you can see her in action. Okay, so the how I done did it part is over with. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it got some of the juices flowing in the brain, maybe gave you some ideas. I'm going to fire it up here in a second. Just wanted to let you know in case I may have maybe glossed over something or didn't explain myself too well in the pictures. Something more you want to know about how it's done or what I did at the time, please get a hold of me. Love to share, love to learn, love to share. So that's what I'm here for. Anyway, let's set the mood, get the lights down, and let's see what she can do. All right, let's get in here and see what she can do. Gets the pump going over here. I have my levers. To get everything adjusted just right. Need to oxygenate it, but not too much, right? There we go. Enjoy it with the light on, but I'm going to turn the lights out for a second just to let you see what's going on inside there. I can dig that. Alright, there you go. I appreciate so much for watching. Please leave a comment, subscribe and like, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.